Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're looking at something really quite profound. It's an idea about forgiveness and, well, faithfulness that comes from a devotional looking at Psalm 89, specifically verses 19 through 37. Our goal really is to unpack how this ancient text, especially through the lens of this devotional, gives us a surprising perspective, a perspective on why we're forgiving that maybe challenges how we usually think about it.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because it really shifts the focus, away from what we do, our human effort, and onto God's nature itself. The core idea is that his faithfulness, his unwavering nature, is the actual foundation for everything, including our ability to even come back to him. And that's not just abstract theology. It could completely change how you look at things like guilt or feeling like you belong.
Okay, yeah, let's get into that. So maybe we start with the foundation, the promise itself. The deep dive kicks off by highlighting Psalm 89 as this big celebration of God's covenant with David. What exactly does that covenant involve? What's the promise being made there?
Right. So Psalm 89 really lays it out. God's part is very active. The text says, he found David, he anointed him, declared his hand would be established with him. There are promises of strength. My arm also shall strengthen him. Yeah. And guarantees of victory, too. The enemy shall not outwit him, and I will crush his foes before him. And crucially, God says, my faithfulness and my steadfast love shall be with him.
Steadfast love, that's cheese, right?
Yeah.
That Hebrew word.
Exactly. It's more than just affection. It's that loyal, covenant-keeping faithfulness. It's deep. It points to an unbreakable bond, promising David's line, his throne will endure as long as the sun before me. It's huge.
Okay, but here's where, for me, it gets really interesting. Because it doesn't just paint this rosy picture of success. It tackles the failures, the times when the human side doesn't hold up. The devotional points right to the psalm asking, what if his children forsake my law? What if they do not walk according to my rules, if they violate my statutes? And it's clear there are consequences. Then I will punish their transgression with the rod and their iniquity with stripes. So you read that and you think, okay, well, doesn't punishment mean the deal's off? Isn't the love conditional then?
That's the exact tension, yeah. It seems like, okay, if you mess up, you get punished. Maybe the love stops. But then comes this incredibly powerful but right after the punishment part. God says, but I will not remove from him my steadfast love or be false to my faithfulness. I will not violate my covenant or alter the word that went forth from my lips.
Wow. So the punishment happens, but the love, it stays. The promise holds.
Precisely. It underscores that God's love, the cheese, isn't fragile. It doesn't just, disappear because people fail. His promises don't have an expiry date based on our performance. It's tied to his own nature, his holiness. As it says, once for all, I have sworn by my holiness, I will not lie to David. That oath sworn on his own being makes the covenant utterly unbreakable, whatever happens on the human side.
Okay, so let's connect the dots. What does this actually mean for us today? Because I think many of us, maybe subconsciously, we think God forgives us because we said sorry, because we repented. But this devotional, pulling from Psalm 89, it flips that script, doesn't it?
It absolutely flips it. The core insight is God forgives you not primarily because you repented, but because he is faithful. His forgiveness flows from his unchanging character, not from you getting your act together perfectly first.
So his love isn't just a reaction to me turning back.
Exactly. It's a reason you can turn back. His faithfulness is the constant, the foundation that makes repentance even possible. It's not your perfect performance that opens the door. His faithfulness holds the door open. Think about it. Have you ever hesitated? Felt like you needed to clean up first before approaching God? This passage suggests that's misunderstanding the dynamic. The devotional puts it so well. God is still faithful, still loving, still waiting. The invitation is always there because of who he is.
That really shifts things. It takes the focus off my guilt and shame and puts it onto confidence. Confidence in him. The idea that you don't have to live in guilt or shame.
Yeah.
You can return to God right now and he will lift you up. That feels incredibly freeing. But, okay, playing devil's advocate for a second. Does this maybe downplay our responsibility? Does it make repentance seem less important?
That's a fair question. And no, it's not about minimizing repentance at all. It's about understanding why repentance is possible and effective.
Yeah.
The devotional isn't saying, don't worry about your actions. It's saying, understand the source of your restoration. God's faithfulness is the enabling power. It's what draws you back. His steady love is what makes turning from something towards him actually work. So you don't have to wait until you feel worthy or prove yourself. You come back because he is faithful.
Right, so the confidence isn't in myself, but in his promise, his nature.
Exactly. Today isn't about proving yourself worthy of returning. It's about remembering who God is faithful and returning based on that confidence. It really pushes you to ask, like the devotional suggests, have I ever held back because of guilt? What would change if I truly trusted his faithfulness more than I fear my own failures?
Okay. So, wrapping up this deep dive on Psalm 89, the big takeaway seems to be this revolutionary thought. God's forgiveness isn't just his answer to our repentance. It's actually rooted much deeper in his own unchanging covenant faithfulness.
That's the heart of it. And it leaves us with a really practical question to chew on, doesn't it? If God's faithfulness, his unwavering commitment, is the real foundation for our connection with him, for forgiveness, how does truly grasping that change how you handle your own imperfections day to day? The mistakes, the failures, that pressure we all feel sometimes to get it right before we can reconnect or even ask for help. How does this shift that?